Welcome to my Sentry City review. They warned us that the robots would uprise and take over, and no one would listen. Set in a cyberpunk world, it's now up to you to fight the robot uprise and discover who's behind it all. Sentry City is pegged as a part puzzler, platformer, trial and error game, which is admittedly a lot to have within a side-scrolling platformer. Your controls consisting of shoot, reload, crouch and jump, and before any clever fuckers say, yes, forward and backwards. While this is all well and good and means that you don't have to memorize too many controls, simple sometimes is good, but also simple can also be bad. And in this case, it really does all feel a little too simple. In fact, for such simple controls, they really was not sensitive enough to be dealing with what was asked of you, and at times just felt damn right unresponsive, and even on one occasion it made me throw my controllers down on my desk in frustration. And this even carried on to the whole trial and error part, which kind of made it feel a little cheap because of this, and no permadeath meant that it all started feeling a little Groundhog Day-ish. And this was all heightened with the fact there wasn't a lot around you to keep you invested, as everything, and yes I know it's a cyberpunk game, looked very dark and a little bit boring and samey. I believe this would be a great time to like and subscribe if you're at all enjoying this video and want to see more videos of mine. It really does help the algorithm and I really do appreciate it. Thank you. The AI, however, for advanced robots felt like the robot that was given the task of giving out orders to the rest of the robots who were guarding the various areas and also tasked with taking your character down. Maybe you forgot to show up at the meeting saying how to actually deal with said situations, as most of the actual standing robots just stood there looking left and right, and you just needed to basically attack them at the right points. And this was kind of the same through all of them: learn a pattern and destroy them or avoid them if possible. I do get what they were going for here, but it felt it was implemented rather badly. And all of this leading up to a encased robot brain that you just need to blast away and collect a circuit. After each level you get put onto a motorbike map and advance to the next level. Eventually you will reach a point where other mechanics are thrown in, but these are basic things like pushing buttons and some wind thingy that makes you go upwards, that kind of like help you gain access to higher platforms. And I have to admit that even with these aspects, it still felt like it lacked variety somehow, and it felt sparse most of the time. At first glance, I rejoiced the fact that there are bosses. And it was at this point, at the first boss, I suddenly realised how bad the game was stacked against you with the controls. The controls simply are not fast enough. And why is it loading every time you get killed by the boss? Why? And then every time you come back, you have to go through the same silly speech thing that has no sound attached to it whatsoever. It just felt odd and a little bit cheap, to be honest. And if it helps, each level is timed, so there's speed running I guess as well. Back to the boss. After I got past the first stage, and yes there's multiple stages to the boss, and after destroying the body, the head then started flying around shooting yellow bullets. And at this point the actual controls really started getting demanding, as I had to work out what I had to do whilst avoiding the bullets, whilst trying to climb up the scaffolding, trying to actually see what to do next. Frustrating would definitely be the word I'll be using here. Graphically it's all pixel art, and as a whole it didn't look too bad. Just all kind of like looked the same though. Reloading did actually look quite cool, and the sound was okay. The music, however, was a little grating after a while though. I can only imagine this game was not made for me. I normally like Flynns arcade games and look forward to their next offerings, but this threw me. It's got potential, I'll give it that, but its controls definitely need a tweak here and there, and the gameplay may be a little bit more variety to it, or at least the looks to hold your attention. And I know it's not set at a very high price, but it's really difficult to recommend when there's games like Dex out there that to my mind has done the cyberpunk side-scrolling platformer a little bit better. I would however say that it would probably entertain some people, but just not me. And for that reason I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. A below average and maybe lower, but I'm still not quite sure whether it's made for me or just for a different type of player. And with that, thank you for watching, like and subscribe for future updates, join us in our community Discord, and I'll see you next time. Take care out there, because life is better when we game together.